Hello, Self. Ohana Cosmos. Soul Dr. Nick here, March 3rd, 3/3/2025. And now it's daytime. It's around 2:30 p.m. I am recording this as I'm being with myself and life and just noticing the stirring up of energy, a little bit of the overwhelm. I'm trying to reply to some people and feeling a little bit pressured, feeling like I'm getting some stuff wrong, feeling like I'm going back into the past. And so how do I honor the breath and the life and doing the magic mirror work? And I did about an hour of it this morning, and then actually started going through the DeMartini method and going through the 10 pillars and everything else like that. And now let's actually get grounded again. And there's so much stuff to get grounded in. There's messages to reply to. There's people I want to work with. There's all the ways that I feel like, oh, I haven't done this yet. And then taking a look at all the different different ideas and thoughts. 15 primary fantasies, and just remembering these things or delusions that give rise to the A, B, C, D, E, H, F, G, H, I's of negativity and depression. Anger or aggression, blame or betrayal, criticism or challenge, despair or depression, escape or exit, futility or frustration, grouchiness or grief, hatred or hurt, irritability or irrationality. And there's a J, I can't remember it now. The 4 primary H's of illusion, the opium masses: physiological, health, the illusion of health without disease; psychological, happiness, the illusion of happiness without sadness; sociological, harmony, the illusion of harmony without disharmony; and theological, heaven, the illusion of heaven without hell. Spiral up and spiral down. And I'm going to spend some time reading more of this, ideally today, and taking a little bit of a look as well to actually get guided into his teachings a little bit more. Pleasures and pains, happiness and sadness, joys and sorrows, likes and dislikes, infatuations and resentments, attractions and repulsions, self-righteous, self-wrongous, pride and shame. And it's noticing there's so many spirals that are going on. There's so many spirals that are going on in my own life right now. I'm spiraling up, I'm spiraling down. And I'm really enjoying noticing and learning about these spirals. And it doesn't make it easier. It doesn't make it easier. And I'm just looking through here because there's the 10 things to say 3 times a day, 3 times. Practical, inspirational phase. So, and it's funny, whenever I'm with activities, I'm noticing that at the end of any experience, the ending is so important. It's actually as important, if not more important, than the beginning. How we leave things, and that has not always been my my balance point, and that's what I'm creating support for. And then inspiring certainty or despairing uncertainty. Bullshit meter if I say I'm always one side or the other. I'm sometimes nice, I'm sometimes mean. I'm sometimes kind, I'm sometimes cruel. I'm sometimes generous and sometimes stingy. I'm sometimes giving and sometimes taken. I'm sometimes positive, sometimes negative, and sometimes considerate and sometimes inconsiderate. There's a balance. There's a balance. Who am I? Why am I here? Whither do I go? From whence do I came? Oh. And then part of this is putting this into a folder, because right now it's all over the place. Fear of breaking morals or ethics of some spiritual authority. Fear or guilt associated with gaining or losing vice or virtue. Social fear of guilt associated with gaining or losing acceptance or rejection. I have so many addictions right now, not good or bad. And then it's the voids create values. The void in the religion or feeling of the spirituality, feeling of the divine. Like, it's funny that I had bought the book when I was young, Conversations with God, because I didn't find God in church the same way my parents did. And that's okay. We each have our own path, right? We have our own path to the synchronicity. And for me, it's more spirituality. And so now the map of consciousness, spirituality, my own development, even contemplating extraterrestrials, aliens, all the unlearning, that's the most important thing to me. And it is the unlearning versus the learning and the rigidity and the structure. And then the deep loneliness that I felt growing up. And it wasn't that I didn't have family around me, so I'm not blaming anyone, but I felt a deep loneliness, alienation, separation, isolation. And so now it's so important for me to stay connected, and feeling that push away, immediately I abandoned myself first. I almost hide first. And so noticing that. And then the work-life trap. I felt like, growing up, the schooling, everything it was a trap. There's no space for me and my own enjoyment and my own desires. That's why I was so addicted almost to video games, that escape. And now it's like, oh my God, it's just business. And I love that from Alex Hormozi. Work is life. Life is work. Work is wonder and play and all the things in between. And then growing up in debt and really not wanting to be with money, and now wanting the financial aspect. And there's still a part that feels definitely a lot when I think about money and finances. So over and over again, I'm recognizing this is the work right now, is to shift my state, my beliefs, and trusting that work is important, because changing these states for myself over and over again is going to matter. Looking at my last 24 hours. And that's the thing, like right now, more and more, my last 24 hours feels more and more in alignment with who I actually want to be. So regardless of when the last 24 hours is, if this is the last 24 hours versus if it was 100 years from now, the last 24 hours, I feel better and better about it, because everything is perfect up till now. And it's gonna just keep getting more and more perfect. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it. It's funny, the 10 things to say, I think I've already passed it, because I remember reading it before and I don't see it now. So I'm going to go past here. Oh wow, there's the explanation of the method. So I'm gonna have to go take a look at that. And let's go to the very end then. Let's go to the very end again. And let's take a look at daily priorities today and do some reading. All this gratitude, DeMartini. All right, so it is when I want to pass this along. Notice how I couldn't find it. Must be the page before this. There we go. Past the breakthrough experience. Inspired action, loving service, silent presence, grateful prayer, divine guidance, sharing wisdom, caring sincerely, study truths, temperate rhythm, fair exchange. Inspired action, loving service, silent presence, grateful prayer, divine guidance, sharing wisdom, caring sincerely, study truths, temperate rhythm, fair exchange. Inspired action, loving service, silent presence, grateful prayer, divine guidance, sharing wisdom, caring sincerely, study truths, temperate rhythm, fair exchange. Chanting these things, chanting the affirmations, taking a look at my own purpose statement. What am I here to be, do, and have? And looking over and over again, oh man, I want to be this being of consciousness, of presence, being with the inside and the outside world, and being with the perfection, and being with the excitement and the joy of what's there at the edge of challenge and support. I want to do the actions to shift myself into a state of readiness, to optimize those states of readiness, and to be content with the current state that I'm in. It's always a choice. And then I like to have more and more abundance and wealth in all 7 areas of life, more and more flow, more and more guidance, more and more inspiration. Just hearing the little crackling in the ears. It's almost like I can hear the wax there. really cool, and noticing this is the story from the past I'm remembering. My love list, looking at the 7 areas of life and what I really love. So I looked at that earlier this morning, the first magic mirror session. And then my affirmations are words of power. And I'm a genius and I apply my wisdom. I love what I do and I do what I love. Remembering that I can change my perception of something or I can change my action. And then whatever I have done or I haven't done, I'm worthy of love. Whatever I have done or I haven't done, I'm worthy of love. Life is always a choice. The only thing is I feel to heal, and everything is a story. And so right now I'm looking at the school of unlearning, looking at the paradoxes of free choice, free will versus fate, and looking at, there's something else too. Spiritual work doesn't have to be serious, it can be fun. So looking at the fun of all this, I've taken an enema today. I did my first coffee enema in a long time, so I'm gonna reach out to a dear friend, Brendan, and ask, hey, can I actually chat with you? Can I be on a podcast? And then also taking a look at who do I want to have as podcasts. I started off with my dear brother, Brent, and started actually chatting with the people that I love and having podcasts with them. So taking a look at when Joni wants to, taking a look at when Candace wants to, taking a look at people and just starting to record them and let it go because I'm curious. I am curious about them as well, genuinely curious and excited to learn more. And Judy as well, taking a look at that. And then what else is there? And then Jonathan and all the people in there, right? So it's every single person that I want to get to know better, even Matthew McIntyre. Like, let's have a podcast with them as a great starting place for where I want to be. And people will get to know them, they'll get to know me, we'll get to spread and share, and it's okay. And then recognizing that it's so easy to say, what's the next course I want to do? How do I actually integrate this course is what I really am curious about right now. How do I integrate this more and more, better and better? And then slowing down, because right now it's about the mirror work and taking a quick look to make sure I'm not missing any messages that really want to come through. So let's see here. Starting to give us problems. Coffee machine, got it. Iris has sent me a message, got that. Okay. All right, so nothing I have to deal with right away. And then, and then I get to play with this. So what's really cool about this is it will track me 360. So I can keep moving around and around and around. And this camera will keep tracking me using the gimbal. And I can move all the way around, which is really quite fun and exciting as I'm playing with all this technology and seeing if it loses me. And so noticing, and that was the thing for this one, it will keep going around and tracking. And how cool is this life that I can move and be tracked and notice and just stretch. And stretch. What I am appreciative of right now as I contemplate my past is that I did gymnastics growing up. And I still have some of the limberness of it. I did cheerleading, so I have the throwing and the catching. And so that's why when my son was even younger, I loved to throw him and catch him. And I have the confidence that I can do that. I have the confidence that I can hang, I can do handstands. I have the confidence that I can relearn things again. And that's my reminder as I'm being with him is how do I help him relearn what he needs to relearn? How do I actually help him keep moving? And it's funny, people are saying he naturally does yoga. And how do I just allow that to be? He's constantly learning who he wants to be, how he wants to live. And I'm just noticing the breath. Today I listened to Joe Dispenza. It was reminding about tightening things up, about actually shifting some of the cerebral spinal fluid and noticing that there's not a right way or wrong way. And now I'm just noticing that I'm talking fast again. Not good or bad that I'm talking fast. But part of it, when I'm doing that, I can feel myself pushing. And that's my reflection as I'm listening to Dr. John, as I can notice when he goes from inspired teaching to almost pushing a little bit. And that's my own perception. It doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it true. It's just my perception. And I would love for it to all be, as much as possible, inspired teaching. And how to actually be able to speak my mind without making myself right. It's just like inviting my dear friend Brent to let me know how things went before and not making it right. It was all lessons and learning, lessons and learning, lessons and learning. And taking a look, if there's something that wants to be cleared up beforehand, it's cleared up. But let's not make the focus of it that. That's part of trying to get everyone saying yes versus trusting that they'll speak up and trusting myself to lead. So right now I'm just doing a little bit of Qigong while I'm doing this and feeling the energy in my hands and my arms and clearing up what's there, clearing up the heart, just noticing the blocks that are here. And I can call them blocks, but it's rather just noticing the flow of energy. And over, if I can actually be responsible for my own flow, I can actually create from a more empowered place. And reminding myself, I was listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he's like reminding, when you first start doing these breathwork techniques, it's gonna feel like a lot of work because we're trying out new muscles. And right now, I'm taking the time to strengthen these muscles while I have the time to do this. And over again in my life is practicing these muscles, practicing these new muscles, practicing this way of being. And then noticing there's so many people I want to reach out to. There's so many people I feel like I should be reaching out to, and so many people I haven't been reaching out to. Just reminding myself to clear my central channels. I do this every time. And that's a funny thing, right? To remember to keep changing states. In the midst of all this, to remember to keep changing states. And I'm in an ever-changing state. Everything I'm doing is evolving. It's perfect the way it is, and it's evolving. It's perfect the way it is, and it's evolving. So, let's actually finish the messages up to people. Let's send out a few messages. And then come back to some more magic mirror work if it feels good. Let's not just try to keep doing this because there's so many things I want to do. I'm just gonna go back to this and see if I can stop the recording now like this.